Alina Catlin pressed her forehead against the cool window of the staff quarters, watching the afternoon sun blaze over the infinity pool. The heat was unbearable, even for Los Angeles in August. She had been working as the live-in housekeeper for Jordan Mitchell's Beverly Hills estate for nearly 8 months. And in all that time, she had learned 3 things about her billionaire employer. First, Jordan Mitchell was rarely home. His tech company demanded constant attention, taking him from Silicon Valley to New York to Tokyo without warning. Second, when he was home, he was polite but distant, barely acknowledging her existence beyond a courteous nod. Third, he was nothing like the arrogant tech moguls she read about in magazines. Alina wiped the sweat from her brow and checked her phone. Jordan's assistant had confirmed he would be in New York until Friday. Today was only Tuesday. The house was empty except for her. The gardener came on Thursdays. The chef was on vacation. Even the security team monitored remotely during the day. She stared at the crystal blue water shimmering in the sunlight. 8 months of cleaning that pool, testing its chemicals, skimming its surface, and she had never once felt its cool embrace. The temptation grew stronger with each passing minute. Just this once, she thought. No one would ever know. Alina changed quickly, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and guilt. She had a simple black swimsuit in her drawer, purchased years ago for a beach trip that never happened. But as she stood at the edge of the pool, a wild impulse seized her. She was completely alone. The property was surrounded by high walls. The nearest neighbor was half a mile away. Before she could overthink it, Alina slipped out of her swimsuit and dove into the water. The sensation was pure freedom. Cool water enveloped her sun-warmed skin, and for the first time in months, Alina felt something other than worry about her mother's mounting hospital bills or anxiety about keeping this job. She floated on her back, eyes closed, letting the water carry her weight. She did not hear the car pull into the garage. Jordan Mitchell stepped out of his Range Rover, exhausted and frustrated. The New York meetings had collapsed in spectacular fashion when his potential investors backed out at the last minute. He had caught the red-eye home, wanting nothing more than a hot shower and silence. He entered through the side door that led past the pool area, planning to grab a bottle of water from the outdoor kitchen before heading upstairs. That was when he saw her. For a moment, Jordan forgot how to breathe. A woman was swimming in his pool, her dark hair floating around her like silken water, her movements graceful and unselfconscious. It took him 3 full seconds to realize it was Alina, his housekeeper. The woman he passed in hallways with barely a word. The woman whose face he had, if he was being honest, started noticing more than he should. Jordan knew he should announce his presence, cough, make noise, anything. But he stood frozen, mesmerized by the pure joy on her face as she surfaced, laughing at nothing but the pleasure of the moment. Then his phone rang. The sound shattered the silence. Alina's eyes flew open and locked directly onto his. Her expression transformed from bliss to pure horror in an instant. She sank lower in the water, arms crossing over her chest. Jordan fumbled with his phone, silencing it. His face burned with embarrassment. Mr. Mitchell, Alina's voice came out strangled. I thought you were in New York. I am so sorry. No, I should apologize, Jordan said quickly, turning his back to her. The meetings ended early. I should have called ahead. Your towel is on the chair by the steps. He heard splashing as she moved through the water. Jordan kept his eyes fixed firmly on the horizon, counting slowly to give her time. His heart hammered against his ribs, though whether from surprise or something else entirely, he refused to examine. You can turn around now, Alina said softly. Jordan turned slowly. She stood wrapped in a large white towel, her wet hair plastered to her shoulders. Her cheeks flushed pink with embarrassment. Even disheveled and mortified, she was beautiful. How had he never noticed before? Please don't fire me, Alina blurted out. I know I crossed a line. The pool is yours, not mine, and I had no right to use it, especially not like that. But it was so hot, and I thought I was alone, and I just wanted to feel normal for 5 minutes. The vulnerability in her voice cracked something in Jordan's chest. Fire you? He repeated. Alina, you work harder than anyone I have ever employed. You have every right to use the pool. I should have told you that months ago. She stared at him, clearly expecting a different response. You are not angry? I am embarrassed for startling you, Jordan said honestly, and maybe a little impressed by your bravery. How long have you been wanting to swim? Alina hesitated. Since my first day? Jordan felt a pang of guilt. 8 months she had worked for him, and he had never once considered her comfort or happiness. She was just part of the household machinery, invisible and taken for granted. The pool is yours to use whenever you want, he said firmly. Consider it part of your employment benefits. Actually, I am going to have my assistant draw up a new contract. You deserve better terms than what we agreed to originally. Mr. Mitchell, you do not need to do that. Jordan, he interrupted. When it is just us, call me Jordan. And I do need to do it. You take care of this entire estate practically that deserves recognition. Lena pulled the towel tighter around herself. Thank you. That is very kind. An awkward silence fell between them. Jordan became acutely aware that they were essentially strangers who had just shared an intensely intimate moment, even if unintentionally. I should let you get dressed, he said finally. And I need to make some calls about the failed New York trip. The question slipped out before Elena could stop herself. I am sorry. That is none of my business. It is fine, Jordan found himself saying. The investors got cold feet. Happens in business. I will figure it out. He saw genuine concern in her eyes, not the fake sympathy he got from people who wanted something from him. It was refreshing and unsettling in equal measure. I hope it works out, Alina said quietly. You work too hard for things to fall apart, Jordan blinked. You notice that? A small smile played at her lips. I clean your office. The coffee cups everywhere, the late-night snack wrappers, the notes you leave yourself on every surface. You barely sleep. It was the most personal observation anyone had made about him in years. His friends talked about his company's stock price. His family asked about profit margins. But Alina saw the human cost of his ambition. Thank you, Jordan said, meaning it more than she could know. For noticing. Their eyes held for a moment too long. Alina looked away first, gathering her discarded clothes from the pool chair. I will see you at dinner, she said. I am making your favorite tonight. Chicken marsala. You know my favorite? Jordan asked, surprised. Elena's smile widened slightly. I noticed things too, Jordan. She walked past him toward the house, leaving Jordan standing by the pool with his thoughts in chaos. In 8 months, he had barely registered her existence. Now, after one accidental encounter, he could not stop noticing everything about her. The way she said his name, the kindness in her eyes, the courage it took to dive into that pool, literally and figuratively. Jordan looked at the water, still rippling from her exit, and realized something fundamental had shifted. The invisible woman who cleaned his house had suddenly become the most visible person in his world, and he had absolutely no idea what to do about it. The days following, the pool incident brought a strange new rhythm to the mansion. Jordan found himself working from home more often, something his assistant noted with barely concealed surprise. He told himself it was about needing quiet to strategize after the New York disaster. But the truth sat uncomfortably in his chest every time Alina walked past his office. Alina, for her part, tried to maintain professional distance. She failed spectacularly. Their first real conversation happened 3 days later in the kitchen. Alina was preparing lunch when Jordan wandered in, drawn by the smell of fresh bread. It smells incredible, he said, leaning against the counter. Alina glanced up from chopping vegetables. Homemade focaccia. My grandmother's recipe. Italian. Half, my mother sighed. Alina smiled at the memory. Nona used to say that good bread could fix anything. Broken hearts, bad days, empty stomachs. Jordan watched her hands move with practiced efficiency. Did it work? Sometimes. Her smile faded slightly. Not for everything, though. Caught the shadow that crossed her face. Your mother. How is she? Elena's knife stilled. She had mentioned her mother once in passing months ago during her interview. She was shocked he remembered. She has good days and bad days. The treatment is helping, but it is expensive. Alina resumed chopping, her movements more forceful. I am managing. Jordan wanted to offer help, but something in her posture warned him off. Pride, he recognized. He understood that. My mother had cancer when I was 20, he said quietly. Stage 3, breast cancer. I was in college, broke, terrified. I started my first company just to pay for experimental treatments insurance would not cover. Alina looked up, her eyes soft with understanding. Did she survive? She is in remission. 10 years now. Jordan smiled. Drives me crazy with her gardening obsession and her matchmaking attempts, but she is here. That is why you work so hard, Alina said. It was not a question. Also because sitting still makes me anxious. Jordan grabbed a piece of focaccia from the cooling rack. And because I never learned how to do anything halfway, I noticed. Alina's smile returned. Your office has 17 half-finished projects scattered around it. You counted? I organize them every Monday. By Tuesday, they are chaos again. Jordan laughed, a real laugh that surprised them both. When was the last time someone teased him? When was the last time he let them? The sound of the doorbell interrupted them. Alina wiped her hands on her apron. Are you expecting someone? Jordan checked his watch and cursed softly. I forgot. That is probably my business partner's assistant dropping off contracts. But when Alina opened the door, it was not an assistant. Vivian Hart stood on the threshold in a white designer dress and oversized sunglasses. Every inch the Manhattan socialite she was. Jordan's ex-girlfriend surveyed Alina with the kind of look that could freeze water. You must be the help, Vivian said, brushing past Alina without waiting for an invitation. Where is Jordan? Alina's jaw tightened, but her voice remained professional. Mr. Mitchell is in the kitchen. I will let him know you are here. No need. I know the way. Vivian's heels clicked across the marble floor. Alina found Jordan already emerging from the kitchen. His expression carefully neutral. Vivian, what are you doing here? Is that any way to greet me, darling? Vivian air-kissed both his cheeks. I was in Los Angeles for Fashion Week and thought I would stop by. We need to talk about the Grayson account. We can discuss business over email. But face-to-face is so much more civilized. Vivian finally removed her sunglasses, her calculating gaze moving between Jordan and Alina. Am I interrupting something? Alina was just preparing lunch, Jordan said evenly. How domestic. Vivian's smile did not reach her eyes. You can go now. Jordan and I have private matters to discuss. Alina looked at Jordan, who gave her a slight nod. She retreated to the kitchen, but not before catching Vivian's triumphant smirk. Through the kitchen door, Alina tried not to listen. She failed at that too. You look tired, Jordan, Vivian's voice carried clearly. This Los Angeles life does not suit you. You should come back to New York. Your company needs you there full-time, and so do I. We broke up 8 months ago, Vivian. A mistake. You said yourself you were not thinking clearly. Your father's death, the company expansion, it was too much stress. Alina's hands stilled over the salad she was preparing. She had not known about Jordan's father. My thinking is clearer now than it has been in years, Jordan replied. We wanted different things. That has not changed. What could you possibly want that I cannot give you? Vivian's voice rose slightly. We are perfect together. Everyone says so. The merger between our family's companies makes sense. I do not want a merger. I want something real. Silence fell. Alina held her breath. That little housekeeper. Vivian's laugh was sharp. Please tell me you are not serious. She is completely unsuitable. This conversation is over. I will have my driver take you back to your hotel. Jordan, wait. Alina heard movement, then Vivian's voice turned pleading. I made mistakes too. I took you for granted, prioritized the wrong things. But we can fix this. We belong together. More silence. Alina gripped the counter, hating herself for caring what happened next. Goodbye, Vivian. Footsteps approached the kitchen. Alina busied herself with the salad as Jordan entered, his face unreadable. I am sorry you had to hear that, he said quietly. It is none of my business. She had no right to speak to you that way. Jordan moved closer. Vivian thinks everyone has a price or a position. She does not understand that some people are just genuinely good. Alina met his eyes. You think I am good? I think you are extraordinary. The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. You work yourself to exhaustion for your mother. You notice when people are struggling. You dive into pools when you think no one is watching. A smile tugged at Elena's lips, despite herself. Are you ever going to let me forget that? Never. Jordan's answering smile faded into something more serious. I have not stopped thinking about it. About you. Elena's breath caught. Jordan, we should not. I know all the reasons why not, he interrupted. You work for me. There is a power imbalance. My life is complicated, but I cannot stop wanting to know everything about you. What makes you laugh? What you dream about? Why you look sad sometimes when you think no one sees? This is dangerous, Alina whispered. I know. They stood in the kitchen, the afternoon sun streaming through the windows, the smell of focaccia bread filling the air. Every rational thought screamed at Alina to step back, to remember her place, to protect herself. Instead, she stepped forward. I dream about opening a small bakery, she said softly. Nothing fancy. Just a neighborhood place where people feel welcome. Where bread can fix things, like my grandmother believed. Jordan's eyes never left hers. That is a beautiful dream. It is impossible. The costs, the permits, the competition, nothing is impossible. Jordan reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she did not, his fingers brushed a strand of hair from her face. I built $1 billion company from a college dorm room. You can build a bakery. With what money? With investment from someone who believes in you? Lena shook her head. I cannot take your money, Jordan. What if it was not charity? What if I wanted to invest because I think you would succeed? People would talk. They would say I slept my way into funding. Jordan's jaw tightened. People talk regardless. Vivian will probably spread rumors after today. Does that mean we let fear decide for us? Thunder rumbled outside. Neither of them had noticed the dark clouds gathering. Rain began pelting the windows, sudden and fierce. Alina looked at the storm, then back at Jordan. I am scared. So am I. His thumb traced her cheekbone. I have never felt like this. Not with Vivian, not with anyone. You terrify me. Why? Because you make me want things I thought I did not need. Quiet mornings. Real conversations. Someone who sees me, not my bank account. The rain intensified, drumming against the glass. Alina felt something break loose inside her, some final resistance crumbling. I see you, she whispered. I see someone who works too hard because he is afraid of stopping. Someone who hides loneliness behind business calls. Someone who deserves to be happy. Jordan's control shattered. He pulled her close and kissed her. It was nothing like Alina imagined a first kiss with a billionaire would be. There was no calculation, no smooth technique. Just desperate honesty. Two people reaching for something real in a world of pretense. Elena's hands fisted in his shirt. Jordan's fingers tangled in her hair. The kiss deepened, years of loneliness and longing pouring out from both of them. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, reality crashed back. Oh God. Alina pressed her hands to her flushed cheeks. This is insane. Completely insane, Jordan agreed. But he was smiling, and I do not care. Your ex-girlfriend just left. Your business partner will find out. The staff, the media, everyone will have opinions. Let them. Jordan pulled her close again, resting his forehead against hers. I spent my entire life doing what was expected, building the right company, dating the right women, maintaining the right image. I am tired, Alina. Tired of right. I want real. Alina closed her eyes, letting herself lean into his embrace. What happens now? Now we figure it out together. No expectations. No pressure. Just us being honest. The rain continued its assault on the windows. Inside the kitchen, wrapped in Jordan's arms, Alina felt safer than she had in years. But a small voice in her head whispered warnings. This could not last. People like Vivian did not give up easily. Jordan's world was not her world. The gap between billionaire and housekeeper was not bridged by a kiss, no matter how perfect. But for now, in this moment, Alina let herself believe in impossible things. She did not see Vivian's car still parked down the street. The woman inside making phone calls with a vengeful smile. She did not know that Jordan's business partner was already questioning his recent distracted behavior. She did not realize that her mother's hospital would soon call with news that would force impossible choices. For now, there was just the rain, the kiss, and the terrifying hope that maybe, just maybe, love could be enough. It would not be. But Lena did not know that yet. The happiness lasted exactly 9 days. Alina marked each one like a prisoner counting freedom, knowing somehow it was borrowed time. 9 days of stolen kisses in empty hallways. 9 days of late-night conversations in the library. 9 days of Jordan looking at her like she was the answer to questions he had stopped asking. On the 10th day, everything fell apart. Alina was folding laundry in the service room when her phone rang. The hospital. Her hands trembled as she answered. "Miss Catlin, this is Dr. Rodriguez. Your mother's condition has deteriorated. We need to start an aggressive new treatment immediately, but insurance will not cover it. The cost is substantial." Alina's legs gave out. She sat heavily on the laundry basket. "How much?" $250,000. "I am so sorry. Without it, we are looking at weeks, maybe days." The phone slipped from Elena's numb fingers. $250,000. It might as well be $250 million. She made $35,000 a year. Her savings held barely $8,000 after months of medical bills. She was still sitting there, staring at nothing, when Jordan found her 20 minutes later. Alina. He knelt beside her, hands on her shoulders. "What happened?" "You were scaring me." The story spilled out in broken fragments. Her mother. The treatment. The impossible amount. Jordan listened, his face darkening with each word. "I will pay for it," he said immediately. "All of it. We can have the money transferred today." No, Alina stood abruptly, putting distance between them. "I cannot take your money. This is your mother's life. I know what it is." Her voice broke. "But if I take your money now, everyone will say exactly what Vivian said. That I am using you. That I am after your wealth. That this thing between us is not real." Jordan stood, frustration clear on his face. "Who cares what they say? Your mother needs help. Let me help. I care what they say. I care what you might think in 6 months or a year when things get hard. I care that I need to be able to look at myself in the mirror. So your pride is more important than her life." The words hit like a slap. Alina flinched. "That is not fair. None of this is fair." Jordan ran his hands through his hair. "I have money sitting in accounts doing nothing, while someone I care about is suffering. How is that fair? I will find another way."
Ow.
"There is no other way. Not in time." Jordan grabbed her hands. "Please, Alina, let me do this. Not as your employer. As someone who loves you." The words hung in the air. The first time either had said them out loud, Elena's tears finally fell. "You love me?" Completely, terrifyingly. From probably that first day at the pool. Jordan wiped her tears with his thumbs. "So please, let me help the woman I love. Save her mother." Alina wanted to say yes. Every fiber of her being screamed to take the lifeline he offered. But before she could answer, Jordan's phone buzzed insistently. He glanced at it and cursed. "I have to take this. It is Marcus Chen, my business partner. We have a crisis meeting about the Tokyo expansion." He kissed her forehead. "We are not done discussing this. Promise me you will not do anything rash?" Lena nodded, not trusting her voice. Jordan left reluctantly, still looking back at her with concern. Alina collapsed onto the laundry again, her mind spinning. She needed money. She needed it fast, and she could not take it from Jordan, which left only one option an hour later. Alina stood outside a sleek downtown office building, her best dress smoothed nervously over her thighs. The brass plaque read Chen Capital Investments. She had looked up Jordan's business partner, found his contact information, and made an appointment under a false pretense. The receptionist led her to a corner office, where Marcus Chen sat reviewing documents. He was younger than Alina expected, maybe 40, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Miss Catlin. He gestured to a chair. My assistant said you had a business proposal. Though I must admit, when I saw your name in Jordan's employee files, I became curious. Elena's stomach dropped. He knew who she was. I need a loan, she said, deciding on honesty. $250,000. For my mother's medical treatment. I will pay it back with interest over 10 years if necessary. Marcus leaned back, studying her. Why not ask Jordan? He could write that check without blinking, because I do not want money to be part of our relationship. Ah. Marcus's expression shifted to something calculating. So there is a relationship. That explains Jordan's recent distraction. His performance has been slipping. Missed meetings. Lost focus. The Tokyo investors are getting nervous. Lena's chest tightened. I did not know. Of course you did not. Jordan would never tell you he is jeopardizing everything for a romance. Marcus pulled out his phone, scrolled through something. Did you know his company's stock has dropped 3% since rumors started about his personal life? That 3% represents millions in investor confidence. That Jordan Mitchell is involved with his housekeeper. That he is making emotional rather than strategic decisions. That he is no longer the focused businessman they invested in. Marcus set down his phone. Vivian Hart has been quite vocal about her concerns. Elena felt sick. I will leave. I will quit today. Just please, give me the loan. I will do better than that. Marcus opened his desk drawer and pulled out a checkbook. I will give you the full amount. No loan. A gift, hope, and suspicion warred in Elena's chest. Why? Because I care about Jordan and his company. If you disappear from his life, he will refocus. He will be the partner I need. The businessman investors trust. Marcus wrote out the check with swift strokes. This is best for everyone. Your mother gets treatment. Jordan gets his life back on track. The company stabilizes. He held out the check. Alina stared at it, her mother's lifeline in Marcus's manicured fingers. All I have to do is leave. Quietly. Today. No dramatic goodbyes. No explanations. Just disappear. Marcus's smile did not reach his eyes. Jordan will be hurt initially, but he will recover. Men like him always do. And you will have saved your mother and his career. Elena's hand shook as she reached for the check. $250,000. Her mother's life. All she had to do was walk away from the only man who had ever truly seen her. I need to think about it. Your mother does not have time for thinking. Marcus pushed the check closer. Dr. Rodriguez called my office too, verifying your employment for a loan application. I know you have days at most. Take the check, Miss Catlin. Do the right thing. Lena took the check. The paper felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. I need to say goodbye. No goodbyes. Those just make things messier. Marcus stood, extending his hand. It has been a pleasure doing business with you. Elena did not take his hand. She walked out of the office, check clutched in her fist, feeling like she had just sold her soul. By the time she reached the mansion, her decision was made. She would take the money, save her mother, and disappear. Jordan deserved someone who fit his world, not someone whose presence damaged his career. Love was not enough when it cost the person you loved everything they had built. She packed quickly, years of practice making her efficient. One suitcase, her important documents, the few photos of her mother. She was zipping the bag closed when Jordan burst through her door. Marcus called me. His face was pale with fury. Tell me you did not take his money. Elena could not look at him. I had to save my mother by selling us out. Jordan grabbed her shoulders, forcing her to face him. That is what this was. Marcus wants you gone because I have been putting you before business. So he bought you off. He gave me a choice. It was not a real choice. It was manipulation. Jordan's hands gentled on her shoulders. Please, Elena, do not do this. Your stock dropped. Investors are worried. Vivian is spreading rumors. Elena's voice broke. I am ruining everything you built. You are not ruining anything. The stock market fluctuates. Investors are always nervous. Vivian is vindictive. Jordan tilted her chin up. None of that matters without you. It has to matter. It is your life's work. My life's work is meaningless if I am miserable. Jordan pulled her close. I spent 33 years building a company, making money, impressing people who do not care about me. Then you happened. And suddenly, I remembered what it felt like to want to come home, to have someone to talk to not be alone. Alina buried her face in his chest, breathing him in. I am so scared. So am I terrified. Shh. Jordan kissed the top of her head. But I am more scared of losing you. Of waking up in 20 years and realizing I chose money over the only person who ever made me feel alive. What about your company? Your investors. I will handle Marcus. I will handle the investors. I will handle Vivian and anyone else who has a problem. Jordan pulled back to look at her. But I need you with me. I need you to trust that we can figure this out together. Alina wanted to believe him. But doubt whispered poison in her ear. People like me do not end up with people like you. Not in real life. People like us, Jordan corrected firmly. Do not give up on real love because others do not understand it. It is not that simple. It is exactly that simple. Jordan took the check from her hand and tore it in half. We pay for your mother's treatment together. As partners, you let me help because people who love each other help each other. And we stop letting fear make our decisions. And Jordan, that money is nothing compared to losing you. I will write a check myself right now. And before you argue, he pressed a finger to her lips. This is not charity. This is me investing in our future. Because your mother gets healthy, you stop carrying that crushing weight, and we get to build a life together. Tears streamed down Elena's face. You really love me? More than I thought possible. Jordan wiped her tears. You make me want to be better, kinder, more present. You make me want to build a life, not just a company. Lena kissed him, pouring every ounce of love and fear and hope into it. When they broke apart, she whispered, I love you too. So much it terrifies me. Good. We can be terrified together. Jordan smiled against her lips. Now, are you going to unpack that suitcase? Or do I need to hide all your luggage? Alina laughed through her tears. I will unpack. But Jordan, what about Marcus? What about the company? I am calling an emergency board meeting tomorrow. Marcus has overstepped, and he is going to learn that my personal life is not company business. Jordan's expression hardened. As for the investors, they can adjust or divest. I did not build this company to be a slave to stock prices. I might lose millions. I might. Or I might prove that a balanced, happy CEO makes better decisions than a miserable workaholic. Jordan pulled her close again. Either way, I am not losing you. That is non-negotiable. The next morning, Jordan made good on his promise. He called a board meeting and laid out the situation with brutal honesty. Some investors were uncomfortable. Some demanded changes. Marcus argued that Jordan was letting emotions cloud his judgment. Jordan listened to all of it, then stood and delivered a speech that would be quoted in business magazines for years. I built this company from nothing because I had something to prove. To my father, who doubted me, to myself, to everyone who said I would fail, and I succeeded beyond my wildest projections. But success without happiness is just expensive loneliness. I have been lonely my entire life. I am not lonely anymore. If that makes me a bad investment, I understand. But I am not apologizing for finally knowing what matters. 3 investors divested. 5 stayed and increased their holdings, saying they admired his integrity. Marcus resigned as partner, but remained on the board, chastened and calculating his next move. The stock dipped, then recovered stronger than before as the media coverage painted Jordan as humanizing billionaires. Elena's mother's treatment began immediately. Blended by Jordan, with no strings attached, Alina insisted on a formal repayment plan, which Jordan accepted knowing she would never forgive herself otherwise. They structured it as a zero-interest loan, repayable over 20 years. an amount Alina could manage. Vivian tried one last attack, selling a story to a tabloid about Jordan's inappropriate relationship. It backfired spectacularly when Jordan and Alina did a joint interview, speaking honestly about how they met, the challenges they faced, and their hopes for the future. Public opinion swung in their favor. The narrative became not billionaire exploits employee, but modern love story defies class boundaries. 6 months later, Elena's bakery opened in a charming space Jordan helped her find. She insisted on paying rent at market value. He insisted on being her first investor alongside a group of others, so she could never claim it was just his money. They compromised on everything, learning to navigate the gaps between their worlds. A year after that, Jordan proposed. Not with a massive diamond, but with his grandmother's simple gold band and a promise to build a life based on honesty, partnership, and choosing each other every single day. Alina said yes. They married in a small ceremony. Elena's mother healthy enough to attend, tears streaming down her face. Jordan's mother, who had initially been skeptical, whispered to Alina during the reception, "You saved my son. He was successful, but hollow. Now he is whole." The business thrived under Jordan's more balanced leadership. Elena's bakery became a neighborhood staple. They bought a smaller house, donating the mansion to a charity that helped families facing medical debt. They started a foundation funding experimental treatments for people like Elena's mother. They fought sometimes, about money and expectations and the lingering insecurities that did not vanish overnight. But they fought fair, and they always came back to the same truth. They were better together than apart. 3 years after that first afternoon at the pool, Jordan found Alina in their kitchen, flour dusting her cheeks as she perfected a new bread recipe. He wrapped his arms around her waist, kissing her neck. "Happy anniversary." Lena turned in his arms, smiling. 3 years since you saw me naked in your pool? Best day of my life? Jordan grinned. Well, second best. Our wedding takes first place. Such a romantic. Lena kissed him. What would you have done if I had left that day with Marcus's check? Jordan's expression sobered. I would have come after you. Given you space to save your mother, but I would have found you again. Convinced you we were worth fighting for? Not you. Really would have, would not you? Alina, I spent my whole life building things, companies, wealth, reputation. But you were the first thing I chose to fight for instead of build. I would have fought until you believed we were possible. She pressed her forehead to his. I am so glad I believed. Me too. Outside their kitchen window, rain began to fall, just like it had the day they first kissed. But this time, they were not afraid. They were home. Not in a mansion or a humble apartment, but in each other. Love had not been enough by itself. They had needed courage, compromise, sacrifice, and stubborn refusal to give up when things got hard. But love had been the foundation. And on that foundation, they had built something that no amount of money could buy and no amount of judgment could destroy. A life, a partnership, a future, together.